So today what we're going to need is EVA foam, or at least whatever you want to make it out of. I prefer EVA foam. A wooden dowel, you can cut down to whatever size you want. Conveniently, this is about the size I want mine to be. A ruler, which you don't need, but I would recommend it to draw straighter lines. A knife of any type, and a marker. Also, you also need a core. I use this, which is just a snow stake. So for us who live in Massachusetts, we require one of these to help show where our driveway is. These things are cheap. I have a crap ton of them in my house, so that's what I use usually. And reference photos and hot glue gun and a crap ton of hot glue sticks. So we're gonna need a lot. Okay, let's begin. I also want Dremel for this prop. Just keep that in mind because it'll help make the blade. This is me from the future, and this is the blade. You want to get the bevel, and so use a Dremel for that. That's just what I recommend. So yeah. Okay guys, so I forgot to mention a few things that we're also gonna need. We're gonna need something like plastic dip, just to seal the prop. And also some foam, sorry not foam, but we're also gonna need some like construction paper. This is for painting because you need the flower decoration on it, on the sword, and this is just what I had. And I thought this would work, so, and I already tested it to see if it will survive against spray paint. It works. So, this is what we're going to use. To be honest here, I forgot to show me tracing out the blade, so I'm going to leave that part out. Forgot to trace it out, but pretty much all I did was trace it and then cut it with a, so I traced it with my ruler, made straight lines, which we're going to trim these down to make it look more like that later, but for now I'm just going to stick with the basic blade. After we do, once you got them cut out, we're going to see if they actually fit roughly how you want it. I recommend having your stiffener or your core of maybe about roughly about here, about an inch, maybe 2 inches. Yeah, about 2 inches away, or just where these two parts meet. This way you have a flexible tip that won't hurt anyone. So just draw a line or something around from this point to this point, and then put this that far. This way, if you do jab it at someone, it won't hurt them. Okay? Okay. Then what we're gonna do after this is attach all this together, which I recommend cutting a groove here, but I'm lazy and I'm on a time crunch because I don't have that much time. So I'm just gonna hot glue this into place. Just right down the middle and go from there. Now I just, drew up a basic template for the guard using my reference photo and using sizing I roughly got from my sword, which is still being put together. So this still needs to be finished up, but I decided to get the measurements for this before I put this all together. So, yeah. This is how I had mine set up. So this is this, this is this, so this is that. This way this is just how I felt like doing it. This is the direction I did it, just to make my life easier. That's how I see it. So just keep track of which way's which. This is the blade, this is where the handle is, for me at least, okay? Okay. My template all drawn out onto the piece of foam. You just flip it when you need it, so like that, and then flip it. Then you just cut this out, which is pretty simple and self-explanatory, and you're going to need maybe 4 to 5 of these, depending on how thick you want your cross guard. For my Night Sky Sword, which is horribly painted, I'll redo this paint job soon. I used 5 layers and used a thin EVA foam or craft foam to I used a thin craft foam to hide the seams, so yeah, this is 5 layers thick. You can kind of see that here. You can see 2 layers on either side. So you can see 1 layer on either side, 1, and there's about 1.5 per side before you reach the middle. So that's why I say 5 is probably the best. I'll show you what to do from here. So now that we got the blade put together, and these all cut out, we have 4 of them. My calculations earlier of having 5 was a little much because that's just 1 layer too thick. So we're going to use only 4 layers of these, and then we're gonna put them here. So, word of advice, you want to take one, you only need 2 of them as the full pieces, and the other 2, if I can find the other one I had. So in these 2, we'll have pieces cut out so it can sit like that. While these 2 pieces will sit on top, while this will be inside. It's hard to explain, but I'll show you in a sec. Word of advice is to get the pieces you want cut out of this, just take this, put it on top, and then just trace it so you get something like this. I'll show you what this looks like in a sec. Perfect. So now we have this piece, which will sit more or less right up against in here if I can. Yeah. It's hard to show you with one hand, but pretty much once we get this all put together, this will more or less, if English, that'd be great. I don't like English, it does not like me. It will sit more or less like this, flush, and there will be the same thing on the opposite side. We hot glue it all together into a sandwich. Then we can hot glue the other 2 on top to make the guard, 3D. Okay? Okay. We have the 2 pieces cut out. We just put the full pieces on top, just like that, and hot glue it together. So then there's like this terrace effect. So I just got them all cut up to be like this. So we just put them like this, and we hot glue them all into place. I recommend doing one at a time though. So this one, where we hot glue this to this piece, and we also peel it back a bit on this side to hot glue here in. This way it's sturdy, and then on the other side, when we get to this one, we do the same thing, start here, and then just hot glue the absolute crap out of it. Okay? Okay. Now that the guard is put into place, you see a lot of inconsistencies in the foam, which is natural because we're human. So I'm going to quickly go cut those off with a knife, and I'll be right back with it. This is most of the sword. All we need to do is put on the handle, bevel, and put a flower on, but the flower, there's many options you can do. I forgot to mention this earlier. You can either buy a fake like rose and paint that and put it on, or what I'm going to do, probably, is make one out of foam. I'll show you what that looks like once I get to that. But for now, I'm going to put on the handle, trim this giant piece down, and go from there, because this is way too long. With most of the sword put together, all we need to do is bevel, put the rose on, hot glue this piece together. And that's really, and then paint, but I don't have much time to do painting, so I'm more or less likely to leave it uncolored for a while, but let's hope I can paint it at some time. This is my flower decoration for the sword. This is the sword. So this will go something like this, but just hot glued down to look good. And there's most of the prop. Just need a plastic dip it, spray paint it, maybe add a bit of detail here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that. Because on the original design, you'll see that bit right there, which I forgot to do, but I'm probably not going to do because I'm too lazy. Or I might in the future, I don't know. Because I don't have any supplies to build that part, so. By the way I made this flower is from paper, like I showed you earlier in the video. And the thing is, I used a YouTube video, and I used hot glue instead of regular glue, instead of what they used, which is regular glue. Long story short, I used hot glue. And I'll leave a video down, I'll leave a link in the description on how I made this and the video I used. Keep in mind that, how do I put this? That I did make it half the size of what it was originally. They said 10.5 millimeters. I made this each sheet 5.5 millimeters. And that's how I made this. So just keep that in mind. I downsized it by about half. Okay, now that I have both flowers put on, keep in mind these aren't the permanent colors, these are just temporary, because this is the color paper I had. Now I got these put on, I just need a plastic dip and spray paint the thing. Then I am done. I think I'll end the video here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe. You don't have to, but it'd be preferred for me. And have a good day. See ya. Hey guys, also before you do leave, I do want to know, please leave in the comments down below what you think I should build next. I've built swords from anime, I've built guns, I build all sorts of things out of foam. Let me know what you think I should build next and I'll think about it. I probably will do it, just depending on it and how complex it is. I'll do my best to get to your comments. Thanks. Bye.